All right, now we get to talk about the fabulous Thompson Middle School. Dr. Vickers, this one is a little personal to me because my twins are going into middle school for the first time.
Well, I will tell you, they are in great hands.
Okay, I've heard this.
They're in great hands, and I always tell parents, that is my youngest son, Will. His favorite school of all times was Thompson Middle School.
Really?
He truly loved the caring atmosphere, and he pushed him academically too. I think when he left Thompson Middle School, he was so confident in his ability to work and do things. It really transformed him. And part of that was the great leadership that we have at Thompson Middle School. Dr. Woodley's been there for almost, I think this is maybe this will be her 12th year.
Oh, wow.
There. And so I'm very excited because she has a great administrative team. And there's just some general things as a middle school parent that I will share. We need to always listen to your child. There's not anything wrong that I always listened to my two boys. But I also wanted to verify if there was something that caused concern. Me getting real upset about it sometimes is, you want to find out the information and then you handle it, send an email, talk to whoever, and verify.
Right.
And sometimes it clears it up. Sometimes it makes it, oh, okay, the rest of the story. Now I get it.
Right.
And it also helps you, with your child to give them that information. I did check on things. Here's what we know. Here's how we move forward. And that positive interaction. Middle school really can be a great experience. I think that the way we've got the school designed, we're very fortunate. We're blessed. We've got a high school that we used to have as a high school for our middle school. So facilities-wise, there's not anyone in the state to compete with us. With the facilities that we have. So we've transformed it. We have sixth grade on a different schedule. So they're not changing classes the same time seventh and eighth graders are. That's an improvement that we made, parent feedback, student feedback, and the administrators. So the sixth graders change at a little different time. So for our sixth grade parents, they're not going to be thrown out there with eighth graders first day. Immediately. And technically all year long they'll move at a different pace, which is super. The other thing is we've worked hard to provide a lot of academic structure because, a few years ago we'd gotten to where it was almost a mini high school. You have elective for this, elective for that. But really and truly, the best thing we can do for our middle school students is make sure they're proficient in reading and math and language arts. If they're proficient in that, then they're going to be more successful at high school where it counts.
Right.
And I think that's been kind of a focus. I think it's helped us academically. When you're looking at that. Sixth grade's a transitional year. I think the intermediate school does a great job of preparing, letting them move with different teachers. I think it gives them that whole idea. Lunchroom, a little bit larger group, but of course, Thompson Intermediate School lunchroom's a big group. So it's a lot of fun. You've got great administrators. Get to know them. Get to know the teacher team that you work with. I think that's the key. That communication piece is so key to everyone's success. So I wouldn't worry if I have a child there. I did, and I didn't worry one day.
Loved it.
They loved it. And
all right, I'm going to hold on to that.
Well, Will Vickers to this day still talks about the best lunches, the best atmosphere.
Okay.
And he learned more about how to do things. And he became independent.
Built his confidence.
He did. He learned how to. Every paper that he did at the University of Alabama, he used a structure that he learned from the team at Thompson Middle School.
Awesome.
So
no fear.
And that's a compliment.
Okay.
That's a compliment. No fear, and there shouldn't fear because it's all about, that transforming to the middle grades so you're preparing for the high school.
Yeah.
So there'll be some bumps in the road, some days you might be concerned, but I always say that, the best way to handle concerns is always you want your child to share with you, and then you take that time to find out, get more information, and I think when everybody works together calmly and positively, we can still be upset because we love our kids. That's part of it, But we also don't want to add to the concerns of the child. So and Will would have always been very positively to respond. He always shared, but that sharing gave me a chance to check on things if I needed to.
Right.
And sometimes I'm like, okay, he's just 14, so I just know,
Yeah.
and that's part of it. But I will tell you, it's a blessing to have a middle school like ours. The academic work that's going on there, the core teachers, we've kind of teamed them up, gone to more teaming.
Okay.
We've kind of gone back to the original middle school concept, not completely, because that was a little bit, the middle school concept wasn't really good for, what I consider Alabaster students. But there were some components of it that we left that we needed to get back. Having 4 core teachers, that work together, that know the kid, having intervention time, having interventionists to work with students, being upfront with our parents about, hey, if they're not proficient, we've got to put them in these strategies classes, and we've got to get them up, because that's the most important thing we do.
Right.
If they're not proficient in reading and math, then we're doing them a disservice. And it's more difficult as you get older to catch up. So they've done a great job with that. You look at the administrative team. They work together. They communicate. Look at the facility. It's so funny. My son graduated that high school, and he walks in now, and he's like, "This place looks amazing."
See, I'm the same way. I graduated from there 20-ish years ago, and I walked in for middle school night, and everything still looks incredible. It doesn't look a day older.
It doesn't. We had great bones, and then going in and putting in new floor tile, renovating the bathrooms, doing those things that freshened it up. And and they got their own performing arts center.
Yeah.
When you look at their theater activities and their choral and their band, I will never forget, and this is such a compliment to the middle school. I was at a middle school football game, and I think it was against Vestavia or Hoover, and one of the parents I knew from that place came over and said, "How do y'all get your high school band to perform and come and play at your football game for middle school?" I said, "That's not our high school band. That's our middle school band." There's no way. I'm like, it's our middle school band, and they sounded great.
Yeah.
And, but that's a testimony to a really great program. Not a lot of people can say that. So you look at the arts, you look at the athletic programs that we have, very good. Our kids are going to be conditioned and weight trained. They're very successful athletically. In middle school, the main thing is keep a lot of people engaged. Keep a lot of them engaged, keep a lot of them working. And winning Metro champions, we've been pretty successful at that too, in a lot of things. But I want to make sure everybody understands the key to all of that is keeping our kids engaged, healthy, and growing in their programs. And that means that it transitions to where it matters when you get to competing at the high school level.
Yeah.
And, of course, middle school matters. You want to win. Everybody wants to win, but I also want our kids to be winners in life. And knowing how to win, knowing how to work hard, and if you come up short, you get up the next day and you work hard again. Those life skills that matter, having that grit to, sometimes you don't make it, but you know what you didn't do to next time you can make it. And those are the things that I think are important for us. Our majorettes and our dance team won national championships.
Incredible.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
National champions. I mean, I've got that underlined twice. And so, when you're talking about, we had the state twirling title, for our majorettes. Those are the things that don't happen in a lot of places.
Right.
The teamwork and the camaraderie. And I can just imagine what that's going to do for us down the road, because those kids are going to compete at the highest level. And I guarantee you that's not the only national championships they're going to win.
Right.
I can guarantee you that. So I'm excited about that.
Love it.
Our boys wrestling team, of course, was Metro champs. We competed. I think we were in the championship game and a couple of other things throughout. Our band was awarded a huge grant from Alabama Power. And our band is huge. It's just a huge band. We have orchestra, that meets there. It's just it's a great place. Middle school is kind of where, it's that one great opportunity at a very difficult time of a kid's life to make sure academically they're solid. to make sure that they have connections to help them with any other issues that come up. Life throws curves at us, and we've got to be able to deal with those. And teaching our kids that resilience, and a lot of that's that. I guarantee you, if we have a strong connection with our parents and our teachers and school and our churches, we're going to have strong kids.
Yeah.
I just believe that, and I think that's been something that we have here in our community, and that partnership that makes things happen, and that's what makes citizens.
Yeah.
Having that partnership, that connection. I think the middle school does a really great job, and don't believe everything you hear. That was the other thing I was trying, because I was a middle school principal at one time, and I always started this, and you'll laugh, and people may not like it, but I'd always start off my middle school principals meeting. It was actually my PTO meeting. I said, look, I'll make a deal with y'all. And this was my first year as middle school principal. I said, look, if you don't believe everything your kid says about us, we won't believe everything they say about you.
It's so true. They're going to tell you.
And of course, the parents laughed and they, yeah, we get it. I said, yes. I said, but there's a lot of honesty in it.
Yeah.
Just reach out.
Yeah.
Just reach out. It's so, in this society, it's so easy not to do that. I don't want to bother them. Well, sometimes the principal or AP would probably rather be bothered. Hey, I didn't even know that was even a thought somebody was thinking. But now I know that. I can follow up. I can check. I can look. Those things, as a middle school principal, I loved my parents that kind of were my eyes and the ears.
Mm-hmm.
And they would kind of give me feedback and information. And it was, it's all in how we approach things.
Right.
Sometimes you can bring something up that's a concern, but it doesn't have to be concerning.
Right.
And how the approach
and
is.
you've said to me before that asking questions is not complaining, and that speaks volumes to me as a parent too, right? Because a lot of times we'll jump to the attack a little bit, and to just communicate, keep those lines of communication open, asking those questions. Key. I think that is such good advice.
And as a middle school parent, sixth grade parent, I think it is important to go ahead and establish that relationship with that core group of teachers, establish that relationship with that administrator. That's only going to pay dividends.
Right.
And, and I always tell people, when I was principal, it didn't matter to me what part of town you were from. It didn't matter. If you had a kid at my school, you were important.
Mm-hmm.
You were important, and and I wanted to partner with you.
Yeah.
And that matters. And in the middle school, it really matters.
Yeah.
And so I think that the middle school's got great things going on. And I love walking through that building, though, because it is certainly a testimony to putting things into the school. And our results are really good there.
Yeah.
Our ACAT results have been very good. So it's an exciting time. Dr. Woodley lives here. Her children went to school here. That matters. Being vested in our community matters. So I think she was assistant principal at the high school years ago. So there's some, there's a lot
of ties there.
A lot of ties, and she cares.
Thank you so much, Dr. Vickers.
Thank you.